Hey, welcome back to another video. Yes, I did get a haircut, got my ears lowered. All it does is show more gray. Today, in our video, I want to talk a little bit about conflict. Conflict is something I've addressed before in a previous video, in the video about plot structure, because really, a story without conflict isn't much of a story. I'll think about my favorite television show right now, The Walking Dead. Well, my goodness, if there weren't any conflict in The Walking Dead, there'd be no Walking Dead. The conflict between the good guys and the bad guys, the conflict within the characters, the conflict between the humans and the zombies, it's all in there, and it makes us want to watch. Really, excitement and meaningfulness come out of conflict. Within a plot structure, the initial incident starts the conflict. The rising action complexifies the conflict. And in the climax, usually the conflict comes to a head, comes to its highest point. The most conflict we feel is usually at the climax. And then through following action, the resolution and the denouement, we have the resolving of the conflicts that are presented to us in the story. So really there are three main types of conflict that I want to talk about today. The first one is man versus man. Well, this is main character versus other. If you want to talk about The Walking Dead, it's Rick Grimes. Oh, but then it's not Rick Grimes anymore, and then it becomes Michonne against Alpha. That's man versus man. It's the character in conflict with some person or some group. The next conflict is man versus environment. And this is what we saw at the very beginning of The Walking Dead. It was man versus this new society where people were against people, where people were against zombies. And really, this is where I'm going to lump things together. Other teachers, don't mean to put them down at all in any way, but they'll lump nature, or they'll separate out nature and society and or fate, and take it away from the idea of the environment. But the environment for me is everything outside of a man versus man conflict. Really, both of these are an external conflict. The next one is man versus self, and that's an internal conflict. This is where the character is really struggling within him or herself as to what to do. Often Rick Grimes doesn't know what to do in the situations that he's in, and he has to choose between killing one of his friends and saving the whole group. We often very much relate to these conflicts, and that's why we get excited and we ascribe meaning to what goes on in a story, is because we relate really well to a man versus man conflict, us and another person, or an environment conflict, us versus the cold, us versus society, or even a self conflict, where we're in conflict with what we think we should do, or maybe what others would like us to do, all within inside our own head, and we trouble it out. So really, The Walking Dead is a great example of conflict. I'm sure you can come up with many others. I know that in our short story unit, there definitely are many of these involved in each of the stories.